What's going on, guys? So in my last video, I showed you guys how you can install a safety glass windshield upgrade for your original tractor cab. As you guys can see, it's all installed. I got my wiper blade done. I also showed you guys how to install that as well. So if you guys haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. Today, what we're going to be installing for this cab is part number 11133, and that's the rear view mirror. Now this is an external mirror that hangs off the side of the cab, so it'll come off the side right here. So if you guys want a mirror on both the left and the right side of your cab, you can buy two of these part numbers right here, and that'll get you covered. We're also going to install part number 12221, and this is the Convex rear view mirror. So this is the mirror that's going to be inside the cab, and it's going to be mounted near the windshield wiper motor. We will have to drill one hole in the top of the cab here. I'm probably going to be drilling it somewhere around this location right here. And it comes with a little bracket that you mount on the inside of the cab, and then the mirror mounts to the bracket. So it should be a pretty easy install. So let me get these items unboxed, and we'll see what they come with, and we'll go from there. All right, so the first kit we'll start with is the rear view mirror kit, since I think that's going to be a little bit easier of an install. Okay, so in this kit, you'll get your rear view mirror. You're going to get two mounting pieces here. So these are both going to connect something like this, and the mirror is going to go in the center. You got some hardware, a couple nuts and bolts, and then your install directions. So I'm going to start right here on step one. Okay, so I'm going to get this mirror unboxed. Okay, there's your mirror. I'm going to set it up on this box here so you guys have a little bit better view. So the first thing we want to do is remove this bracket because it's not needed in this kit. Second thing you want to do is remove the one nut and the one lock washer. You're going to leave the other lock washer and nut on there. And our next step is to install the two brackets that the mirror came with. So there's a short bracket and a long bracket. The long bracket's going to go on first, followed by the short bracket. Now, depending on whether you're putting this on a left or right side, I'm going to be putting this on the left side of the tractor. So I'm going to be putting my brackets on a certain way, but you may put it on the other way depending on which side of the tractor you want yours on. So since I'm putting this on the left side of my tractor, I'm going to want these L brackets facing towards the left. Okay, so I'm going to install the long bracket first, followed by the short bracket. I'll put my lock washer back in place, followed by the nut. And for now, just get it snug. That should be it for assembling the mirror itself. Now we can go and put this on the cab. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is get this door out of the way. So the first thing we want to do is remove this Velcro piece down at the bottom of the door. Once you have that undone, you could open up the door and lift it up out of the pins. Just like that. Okay, so now that we got the door out of the way, we got to remove this front left corner cab bolt. This is one of the four that holds the hardtop in place. So you'll need a 7/16 socket and a 7/16 wrench. Once you've got that bolt out of the way, you want to use one of the bolts supplied with the kit. It's a slightly longer bolt so that it can accommodate for the mirror bracket. Okay, so I got the mirror in my hand as well as the longer bolt supplied with the kit. So we're going to put our mirror up to the cab roof here and slide in the bolt off of the top bracket, which is the shorter bracket of the two. Okay, now I'm just going to snug it up. Okay, now that's snug. Now we can install the bottom bracket here. So this bottom bracket's actually going to share the same mount as your front windshield cross brace. So that's located right here. So we got to remove the nut and bolt for that. And then once we do that, we can install the longer bolt included with the kit and mount this in place. All right, guys, so the bolt that we're after for this cross piece, if I lift up this bottom of the window here, you can see the bolt is right here. Here's the head of the bolt. So we're going to need to remove that bolt. And once that's out, the bottom of this mirror can slide in place and get rebolted. I've got a couple of 7/16 wrenches here. Break it loose. Okay, so now I got this nut crack loose. Go ahead and take it off. Okay, I got that nut off. Now I'm going to see if I can get this bolt out of here. It's kind of a tight squeeze, but it does come out of there. Okay, and there's the bolt. Now I'm going to replace it with the longer bolt that comes with the kit, which is this one right here. Okay, I got that bolt back in. We're going to take the bottom mirror bracket, slide it up over top. Kind of got to pull this plastic bezel away for the front glass windshield. You can kind of just lift it up and out of the way and slide that in place. I'm going to put the nut back on. Okay, I got that good and tight. Okay, so now we got the bottom one tight. I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the top bracket. Okay, that's nice and tight. Okay, now we got the mirror and the bracket all installed. I'll show you guys which bolts I was talking about. So here's that top left forward cab bolt. That's that one right there. And then as far as the bottom one goes, it's right underneath the plastic bezel for the front safety glass windshield. And as you guys can see, you just pull this lip back here, and there's the bolt right there. So it's not too hard to get at, but I would recommend using 2 wrenches instead of a ratchet. So now that we got that all mounted up, now we can finally tighten up the last bolt, which is the one we started with. So I'm going to tighten this nut up right here, and we should be all set. This thing moves and rotates. If you want to adjust how easily it moves, there's these 3 Phillips bolts on the back. So if you tighten them up, it'll stiffen up the spring in the mirror, and if you loosen them up, the mirror will move easier. So that's how you can kind of adjust that, depending on what kind of tension you want on that spring inside the mirror. So right now I'm just going to tighten this up, and we'll get it adjusted and see what it looks like. Okay, so this mirror bolt is actually a 10 millimeter. Snug that up. Once you have that nice and tight, turn it exactly how you want it, and then you could also tilt this thing up and down. And I think the resistance without touching these bolts is perfect. It's nice and stiff, but yet it's still able to move fairly easily, so I think that's perfect. I really wouldn't adjust these unless it's too sloppy or too loose, but mine seems nice and snug, so I'm gonna leave it just like that. So that is the rear view mirror install. So I'm glad I have the left side on there. I would like to get the right side as well. I think that would look really nice to have both of them on here. I definitely like the look of it. I like the design of it and the way it comes off with these 2 brackets that they come up with. You know, it's got a nice factory look. Let's get inside the cab here and see what it looks like. All right, so here's a look at the mirror inside the cab. And as you guys can see, it's easy to lean forward and adjust it just like any other manual mirror. So I really like it. I like the placement of it. I think it's out far enough to where you can definitely see behind you and it's not getting blocked by the cab itself. So I'm really happy with it. I think it looks really good. So now what we're gonna do is get the door back on, and then we can get to installing the convex mirror. Probably gonna keep it right off into this right-hand corner here. We do have to drill 1 hole, but that's about it. So that should be a pretty easy install as well. So let's get this door on, and then we'll get to the convex mirror. Okay, for installing these doors, you wanna install the top pin first. Once you have that in, you wanna work yourself around to the front side, lift up, and install the bottom hinge. Just like that. Close the door, and then lastly you can install your Velcro back on just like that. And that's how easy it is to install and remove these doors. Alright, and there's the finished product with the rear view mirror. Definitely looks really nice on there. Liking the factory look. So now we can get going on this convex mirror. Okay, now we're going to open the convex mirror box. Inside we have the convex mirror itself. Looks like a pretty decent mirror. Nice big mirror. This is typically what they use in tractor cabs. They're generally larger than a normal rear view mirror that you'd find in like a vehicle. We have our mounting hardware. It includes a couple of nuts and bolts. And we have our installation instructions. Alright, so the first thing I want you to do is to install the mirror itself onto the bracket. So we're going to be doing this just like we did the other mirror. Let me get this open. Now what's interesting about this mirror is it comes with 2 different brackets. So this first bracket here is going to be used for mounting the mirror inside of the cab. And then it's got this little U bracket here. And this is actually going to be used for if you have a sunshade and you want to mount the convex mirror in your sunshade. This will go around one of the frame mounts, and this longer bolt will go through it to tie it together. And then you'll get a nut put on that. But we're not going to be installing this on a sunshade, so this is going to be left aside. So what we're focused on is just using this longer bracket here. Get this mirror popped open. Okay, and there's the mirror itself. So now what we want to do is remove this hardware that it comes with because we won't be using it. I'm assuming that this is like a universal mirror that they use, and that's why it includes this other hardware here. So we won't be using this piece right here. Put that to the side. So now what we're going to do is install the bracket onto the mirror. This bracket is the same either way, so it doesn't matter which way it goes. Use the lock washer and nut that we just pulled off, and just snug it down for now. Okay, just like that. So now we're going to drill the hole into our hardtop. To do this, we're going to need a 5/16 or 8mm drill bit. So let's get going on that now. All right, I got you guys inside the cab now. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. But right now what I'm doing is I have the mirror mounted to the bracket. And I'm just going to try to figure out exactly where I want this mirror positioned. I'm going to mark where I want my hole drilled, and then I'm going to drill my hole. You guys can do this any way you want, but what I'm doing is I'm leaving the bracket up. If you guys can see on the back side of the mirror, the stud coming off the back side is actually offset. So I have the mirror flipped in a way so that the stud is on the bottom half, and then I have the mirror bracket flipped so that the hole is at the top. That seems to fit the best like that. So that's the way I would do it if I were you guys, but you can do whatever way fits you guys best. Okay, so what I found out here by eyeing some things up is if you guys notice a sticker here, which you guys will have on your cab as well, Pretty much what I'm doing is getting the center of this bracket that we're mounting here, center with that sticker. So I'm getting the center of this bracket here, center with the sticker from left to right, and then I'm also centering it between the top and the bottom. And that seems to be a perfect placement. So what I'm gonna do is find my center here, mark my hole, and put a hole through it with the drill bit. Seems pretty good right there. Get my drill gun, and I'm gonna punch my hole. Okay, there's my hole. Let me just go get my nut and bolt and we can get this thing mounted up. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and place my bolt through the hole. Just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and stick my mirror on with the bracket facing up, as you can see. All right, I got the bracket slid over the bolt. Now I'm just gonna put my nut on. All right, guys, so I got the mirror mounted in place. As you can see behind there, you can see that I found center on that sticker, and then I found my center from top to bottom. And it seems like the mirror is in a perfect spot. I like where it's at. It's up towards the corner, but not all the way in the corner. Obviously, it's just kind of hanging there right now because I need to tighten the bolts down. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to tighten down the nut going from the mirror to the bracket, and then the other nut going from the bracket to the hardtop. Okay, so you'll need a 13mm socket as well as a 13mm wrench to tighten these up. Okay, so that one's tight. Now we're going to tighten up the nut on the back of the mirror. Alright guys, and that should be it. It's a pretty simple install. Alright guys, and there is the mirror installed. Looks really nice up there in the corner of the cab. I took off the right side door just so you guys can see this a little bit better because it was so dark in here. Let me sit in the seat here so you guys can see what it looks like from the driver's seat. Okay, so here's what it looks like from the driver's seat. As you can probably tell, I can see my right side here. I can see my left side, which is over here. And I can see dead center straight behind me. So it's perfect. I really like the placement of it. So if you guys are buying this mirror and installing it, I would do exactly what I did there. Because there really is no guide. Like when we installed the wiper motor, it came with like a little guide where to drill the hole. For this, it did not. So like I said, I would just center your hole on that sticker there and then center the top and bottom of the roof. And that's exactly where I have mine. Keep the stud on the back of the mirror on the lower half of the mirror and keep the mirror bracket facing upwards. It'll look exactly like mine does right here. So really happy with it. Can't wait to get on to the other upgrades. Let me get this right side door back on here and I'll get right back with you guys. All right guys, so that's gonna be it for this one. Cab is definitely looking better and better with each upgrade that I do to it. I'm really happy with the results. I really love that side mirror, and I definitely love that convex rearview mirror as well inside the cab. Definitely makes a big difference. You know, I never had a cab on this tractor, but I'm used to driving cab tractors at work. And, you know, I'm just used to using my mirrors. I always use my mirrors. I'm not one of them guys that likes to look behind me if I could use a mirror. And when I got this cab installed, I just felt kind of naked without it. So I'm really happy to have my rearview mirrors again, and it's definitely going to be a big help, especially when backing out of the shed and even when plowing as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. There were a couple of pretty easy installs, I would say, but you know, at least you got something to go off now if you're doing it yourself and you're not quite sure, especially with that convex mirror inside the cab. You know, if you guys aren't too sure where you want to drill your hole, at least now, hopefully you'll know. There you can see the bolt right there for the convex mirror. Dead center right there in the hardtop from top to bottom. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. I've still got at least 3 really cool upgrades to do to this cab. So stay tuned. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.